Hare Krishna, Granthara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in story form, chapter 112. The killing of the demon Naraka, deliverance of the demon named Bhaumasura, Canto 10. One day, Indra came to Dwarka to complain about Bhaumasura because the demon had stolen Aditi's earrings and Varuna's umbrella and had conquered Mani Parvata, a playground of the demigods that formed part of Mount Meru. Taking his adventurous wife Satyabhama, the Lord immediately set out for Pragyotisapura, the capital of Bhaumasura. Pragyotisapura, the capital of Bhaumasura, riding upon the back of Garuda. This city was fortified on all sides by moats, rock formations, barbed wire, electrified wires, and barriers of gases, all of which were constructed by the demon Mura. Krishna smashed the fortifications and scattered the demon's army with his club. With his chakra and sword, Krishna counteracted the electrical and gaseous barriers. He then blew his counsel so that the sound foiled the magic spells guarding the fortress and shattered the hearts of the defending warriors. The five-headed demon Mura, who was sleeping at the bottom of the moat, was awakened by the sound of Krishna's Panchajanya counsel. Rising up from the water, his temper blazing with terrible effulgence, Mura was difficult to look at, as he seemed to be swallowing the three worlds with his five mouths. Brandishing a trident, Mura roared so loudly that the sound rumbled throughout the universe and echoed off its sail-like coverings. Mura violently hurled his trident at Garuda, the son of Tarksha, and Krishna responded by breaking it into three pieces with two arrows. Krishna then proceeded the Krishna then proceeded to pierce Mura's mouth with his arrows. Being thus outmaneuvered, Mura struck back by angrily hurling his club, but Krishna smashed it into small pieces with his own. At last, being bereft of all weapons, Mura rushed at Krishna with upraised arms. With his Sudarshana Chakra, however, Krishna severed the demon's five heads, causing his lifeless body to fall into the water. In retaliation, and by the order of Bhaumasura, Mura's seven sons rushed onto the battlefield. Accompanied by their military commander, combinedly they showered various weapons upon Krishna. But the Lord retaliated by not only cutting all their weapons to pieces with his arrows, but also severing their heads, thighs, and arms, thus sending them to the abode of Yamraja. When Bhaumasura, who is also called Narakasura, saw this slaughter, he could no longer contain his fury, and so rushed out of his city, riding upon an elephant. Upon seeing Krishna and Satyabhama beautifully situated in the sky like a cloud with lightning, Bhaumasura hurled his powerful Sattagni weapon while his soldiers simultaneously attacked with their weapons. With his arrows, however, the Lord soon reduced the opposing army to a mess of bodies and severed arms, legs, and heads. Garuda was helping Krishna by striking the elephants and horses with his wings, beak, and talons. Finally, after being deserted by his army, Bhaumasura angrily struck Garuda with all his strength. When Garuda did not even waver, the frustrated demon picked up his trident. But even before he could release it, Krishna cut off his head with his razor sharp Sudarshana Chakra. Having fallen onto the battlefield, Bhaumasura's head shone brilliantly, being decorated with earrings and a helmet. Upon seeing it, his relatives screamed in disappointment, while the demigods joyfully showered flowers. The goddesses of the earth, Bhumi, then approached Lord Krishna and returned Aditi's earrings, Varuna's umbrella, and the peak of Mandara mountain, and gave him a Vaijayanti flower garland. After bowing down to the Lord, Bhumi stood up with folded hands and said, "Obeisances unto you, O Lord of the demigods and original seed of all existence. Here is the son of Bhaumasura named Bhagadatta. Although frightened, he is approaching your lotus feet. He seeks refuge in you, and so please place your lotus hand upon his head." Lord Krishna gave assurances that her grandson need not be afraid, and then entered Bhaumasura's palace. There, Lord Krishna found 16,100 young princesses that Bhaumasura had forcibly kidnapped. Upon seeing Krishna, the most excellent of males, these girls accepted him within their minds as their chosen husband, with the thought, "May Providence grant that this man become my husband." Each and every princess absorbed her heart in contemplation upon him. Understanding their minds, Krishna agreed to accept the princesses. After arranging new clothing for them, he placed them on palanquins and sent them off to Dwaraka. Along with the great deal of wealth he had collected, including 64 white four-tusked elephants that were descended from Airavatam. Krishna next took Satyabhama to Amaravati, the abode of the heavenly king Indra. After being given his mother's earrings, Indra and his wife worshipped Krishna and his consort in return. Then, while returning home, Krishna remembered his promise to give Satyabhama a parijata flower. Once, Narada had given one such flower to Rukmini, making Satyabhama feel that she was being slighted. Now, Satyabhama asked for a parijata flower. Thus, it came to pass that at Krishna's instance, as Krishna's insistence, she uprooted a whole plant and placed it on the back of Garuda. When they saw this, the demigods became very irritated that the plant was taken without their permission. Indeed, with Indra at the helm, they came and objected, and when Krishna remained adamant, there was a fight. After defeating Indra and all the demigods, Krishna planted the Parijata in the garden of Satyabhama's palace, and because of its fragrance, the celestial swans, or perhaps bees, also migrated there. Even after Indra had bowed down to Lord Krishna and touched his lotus feet with his crown, still, by a slight turn in the course of events, he chose to fight with the Supreme Lord. What ignorance there is among the gods! To hell with their opulence! In this world, wealth and power generally produces arrogance, thus paving the way to hell. After returning to Dwarka, Krishna expanded himself into a separate form for each bride and then married the 16,100 princesses, each one an expansion of Lakshmi, simultaneously each in her own palace. Thereafter, Lord Krishna remained in each of his queen's palaces, acting just like an ordinary husband. Their conjugal relationship with him steadily developed as they pleased him with their smiling glances in ever fresh intimacy, replete with joking and feminine shyness. Although each queen had thousands of maid servants, they chose to personally serve their lord by receiving him, seating him, presenting him with articles for worship, washing his lotus feet, massaging his legs, fanning him, decorating him with garlands, combining his hair, combing his hair, bathing him, feeding him with nice dishes, and asking him to lay down to rest. Hare Krishna.